Start?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right. Yeah. So PPT is visible, na? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. So next, we initially discussed about the port agency agreement and everything. Now we discuss about the services offered by port agents. What are the services offered by the port agents? The important services offered by the port agents are as follows here: to arrange for and to attend the clearance of the vessel, and to arrange for all other services pertaining to the vessel's movement through the port. The inward clearance or inward entry is required for a ship to officially commence the unloading of cargo. The following documents are required for obtaining the inward entity. So we discussed about the IMOFL form also. So once again, IMO General Declaration, IMOFL Form 1, IMO Cargo Declaration, it's Form 2, IMO Stores Declaration, Form 3, IMO FL Form 3, IMO Crew Effects Declaration, IMO FL Form 4, Crew List, IMO FL Form 5, so IMO Passenger List, Form 6, Maritime Declaration of Health, Ship's Registration Certificate, Ship's International Tonnage Certificate, and Last Port Clearance Certificate. So these are the certificates used for the inward entry, documents used for the inward entry, right? So please kindly note down that inward clearance or inward entry, what are the documents needed for that? Right? Okay. So to arrange for the next one, to calling forward, reception and loading of outward cargo, and discharge and release of inward cargo, and to attend the transshipment of through cargo. Port agents shall liaise with the shippers and receivers to ensure that there is no delay in bringing the cargo to the port or taking delivery, as the case may be. To arrange for bunkering, ship repairs, vessel husbandry, crew charges, passenger exchange for cruiser liner vessels, supply of ship stores, spare parts, technical and nautical assistance, and medical assistance to the crew members. Right? To carry out the principal requirements concerning claims, handling, protection, and indemnity club matters, general average on insurance, and the appointment of cargo surveyors, to attend to all necessary documentation and to attend to the consular requirements, to report to the principal the vessel's position, and to prepare a statement of facts, call or port log, to keep the principal regularly and timely informed on port and working conditions likely to affect the dispatch of principal vessels. So agent always focused on these activities, the general coordination with the principals and everything, and he should properly maintain on that also. Okay. Next one. Yeah. So before going to this, services offered by the owner's protective agents. Here, some of the things will be here. Some of the certificates will be, I think people know that. So once again, I'll tell about this. Yeah. So we discussed about the inward entry and inward clearance also. So the same thing, outward also, right? Same forms and outward entry also should be followed. That outward clearance or outward entry is required to obtain before the departure of the ship to the next port, right? The same list, the same documents for also need for outward entry. IMO General Declaration, right? And IMO Cargo Declaration, store list, crude FX declaration, crude liner, IMO passenger list, right? All the thing, bunker certificate showing bunker applied during the sale, shippers registration certificate, ship's international tonnage certificate. So these are the things certificate should be maintained. Here, ship registration certificate, certificate of registry, ship's international tonnage certificate, and everything should be maintained. So I will show you this ship international tonnage certificate. So various certificates will be followed. Maybe you can write it down. What are the certificates? Any idea? Do you people know that? Here, it's mentioned here. Ship registration certificate. What are the certificates? Maybe any idea on that? Some of them are the shipping industry. What type of certificates? Yeah. Anyone? Yeah.
Certificate of registry.
Yeah. Then?
International tonnage certificate.
International tonnage certificate. Yes. Yes.
International load line certificate.
International load line certificate. Fantastic. Yeah. Great.
International ship security certificate.
Which one? Which one? International
ship security certificate.
Ship security certificate. Yeah.
International oil pollution certificate.
Yes. Great. Yes.
Minimum safe manning document.
Great.
Safe managing certificate.
Okay.
Oil record book, damage control booklets, garbage record book.
Everything. I think all the certificates. Great. Nice. Yes.
And in passenger safety certificate, special trade passenger ship certificate.
Okay.
List of operational limitation.
Okay.
And special trade passenger ship space certificate.
Okay.
And the dangerous cargo for carrying oil or gas, we call the dangerous cargo certificates.
Okay.
And cargo ship safety radio certificate.
Cargo ship safety radio certificate. Yes, great.
Yes,
yeah.
Cargo ship construction certificate.
Okay. Equipment certificate. Equipment certificate is also there.
Yes,
right?
yes. And bulk carrier booklet.
Okay. So all the certificates you tell. Okay, great. So fantastic. All the certificates. Yes. Very important thing is he rightly told about that. Maybe some important certificates should be followed mandatorily. He also mentioned every certificates. Yes, ship safety certificates, right? Ship safety certificates, and that he mentioned about the international load line certificate, safety radio certificate, safety equipment certificate, certificates confirming the payment of port dues and light dues, right? Inward certificate. So a lot of certificates are there. Maybe I will show you one sample for you people also for that understanding. Yeah. Hello. Yeah. I'll share the certificate. I'm unable to share the. Just a minute. Yeah, just 1 minute. I made unable to share the screen. I think Karthik has shared the FL and everything.
Yes, sir. It's all certificates from IMA.
Yeah, all certificates. Great. So what happened? My even the screen sharing is not possible. Just a minute. I will call the people. Yeah. Hello. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I think Karthik has shared all the in the PDF file. So see, this is one of the. I think you see this International Tonnage Certificate.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, 1969. It's mentioned. Yeah, it's a year 1969. So name of ship, distinct number of letters, port of registry, date, length, article. So this is one of the certificates here. And one more thing also I'll share now. Load line certificate. Yes, see this load line, international load line certificate. Name of the ship and everything. Yeah. For freeboard assigned. See this distinct number of letters and everything. Length, it's mentioned 240 feet. Port of registry seat. What is this freeboard assigned as and type of ship? Anybody knows about that? In this load line certificate, what do you mean by this freeboard assigned? It's mentioned new, and what are the other possibilities will happen? Anyone? Any idea? Type of ship is also mentioned here. Type B reduced. Karthik, any idea on that? Or anybody? Prabhakaran sir? In the certificate, freeboard assigned as new, it's mentioned. Yeah. What do you mean by this freeboard?
Freeboard is the space above the water line. The water line.
Freeboard
the ship
is
floating above the.
yeah.
Freeboard is the space above the water line where the ship is loaded. No.
Space above the water line. Yes, great.
Yes.
Yeah, freeboard is there and deck
freeboard.
is also there. Deck is also there.
Yes, correct.
Freeboard and deck will be there above the water line. Great. Freeboard generally.
That space is called the freeboard.
Yeah.
And type, there are two types, type A, type B is there. For
type
oil tankers,
A and type B, yeah.
Yes. For passenger ship also different types of load line is there.
Okay.
And cargo ship, for tanker is different and for bulk carriers, container is different.
Okay.
So they just put as type A, type B on the certificate.
Right. Okay. So type A ship, type B ship is there. Great. What is the type A actually? Type A?
Exactly, I have to refer and tell you. Sir.
Okay.
Type A means it's for the oil tanker because
oil. Yeah, carry the more liquid items, right? Bulk liquids.
Yes.
Simple thing is bulk liquids normally. Yeah, great.
Yes, correct. Yes.
Carry the bulk liquids. Yeah. Any other?
Yes.
Type B. What is the type B usually?
Type B normally cargo ships.
Cargo.
General cargo ship or
yes.
Ship.
Yes. Yeah. Type B. It's mentioned as a reduced, increased freeboard. Like that is there, right? Either increased or decreased, reduced or increased. So that type of type B is also there. Kindly note it down. Yes. Type A, type B ships will be there. So here mentioned about type B, a reduced freeboard normally. So in this freeboard
type
assigned,
B ships and all this opening, there will be more openings. So water ingress will be there.
Which one?
Chance of type B ship. The openings will be more like hatch and all, very big hatch will be there.
Big hatch will be there. Yes, great.
Yeah,
yes.
So to protect that, the freeboard will be more. So water cannot easily ingress, come on deck.
Okay.
But type A ship, like tanker and all, only small opening is there.
Okay.
So they have less freeboard.
Right. I think we got a better idea. Type A, type B, right? And freeboard assigned, as we mentioned, new. Any other possibilities are there?
Freeboard assigned.
Existing, right? Existing and new will be there normally. Freeboard assigned.
Yeah. Maybe after the survey, this is the initial thing.
Yeah.
I have to check on that.
Definitely. Yeah. Great. I think you know the certificates. We discussed about that also. A lot of certificates are there. I think Karthik has mentioned about that. So ship certificate registry. Normally you people should know that. Okay. Right. I'll share this. Yeah. So these are the services. Next one, services offered by owners protective agents. So this is one more topic in the unit. Yeah, when the agent is nominated by the charterer, the ship owner will normally expect only the cargo related work to be handled by such an agent. The ship owner may also be concerned about protecting his interest in the event of any dispute with the charterer. If there is any delay on the part of charterer in bringing the cargo for loading, the vessel may suffer delays. Yes, definitely. I all told about that. If there is a delay, definitely the vessel may suffer delays. If the reason for the delay is not documented, the statement of facts, the owner may not be compensated adequately. By having owners protective agents, owners can ensure that interests are protectable. Owner's protective agent, also called as supervisory agent. Please kindly note it down. The other name for that, supervisory agent. So kindly note down this. Services offered by the owner's protective agents. So they are called as the owner's protective agents. So kindly go through that PDF file also. He shared. Thanks, Karthik. Yeah. So that certificates and everything will be used as a model for you, right? What are the things I showed here, like load line certificate and registration certification, ship certification, registration, everything. So use that PDF file also for a better understanding also, right? Yeah. Kindly note down this. So always focus on the not to be delayed. It should be on time and everything. Yeah. Next one. Yeah. They offer the following services. Supervised agents, right? Operative agents. Supervise cargo operations and ensure that statement of facts is recorded correctly. Owners will instruct the master of the vessel to seek the views of the protecting agent in case of a dispute with agents nominated by the charters. Owners protective agents will offer vessel husbandry services, assistance during classification of society surveys, ship repair services, arrange supply of stores as per the requirements through husbandry services, etc. Give cash advance to master as per instruction from the principal. So these are they offer the following services also. Owners protective agents. Okay. Yeah, I'll move next slide. Yeah. Next one, operational aspects of port agents. Ship agency operations pertaining to vessel as when covered in this section. Yeah. Tendering notice of readiness, NOR, notice of readiness. It's called as NOR. The NOR is extremely important document which notifies the charters of a ship of its readiness to load or discharge cargo. The tendering of an NOR is the start of the process whereby the lay time allowed under the charter party begins to count. Charter parties usually contain explicit details of when and how NOR can be tendered. See this? So this topic mainly focused on the operational aspects of port agents. What are the things to be followed? Services offered we discussed, but the operational aspects. So various operational aspects like NOR and everything. So kindly note it down. This is called as a ship agency operations also. Sometimes the examination point of view, it's the question will be asked is the ship agency operations. So kindly note down and write down this answer also. Operational aspects of port agents. NOR, listen, important role. Notice of readiness. Always remember that abbreviations. Okay. So very simple, which notifies the charters of a ship of its readiness to load or discharge the cargo. Shall I move? Just tell me if you're finished. I'll move next slide. So notice of readiness can be given in the letterhead of the company, shipping company, right? So Normally, the lettered officially, it should be given to the people, right? So that also, can you note it down? How the communication have been happened, how it happened, right? With the proper formal conditions in the lettered, it should be completely mentioned. Notice of readiness. Okay, I'll move next slide.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, right. Thank you. See this, an NOR, notice of readiness, can be the pre-printed form. See that, a pre-printed form, or can be prepared afresh by the master and given to the agents for tendering to the charters through the portage. That's what I told about that. It should be a pre-printed form, or it should be in the lettered formally, right? So because it's very important, movement of goods and everything, to load or discharge the cargoes and everything. Subsequent to the tendering of the NOR, the chartered party will stipulate when the lay time for loading, unloading, without the payment of penalty, known as demurrage, will commence. See that? Demurrage. Port agents have to record the day-wise cargo loading, unloading activities and prepare the statement of facts. I think you know that SOF, statement of facts. It's called as the SOF. S will be caps, so O will be the small letter, and F will be the caps. Normally, it should be mentioned like that. SOF, statement of facts. So don't get confused. Sometimes they'll ask for the SOF. So you people should be able to know that statement of facts. Statement of facts, nothing but loading and unloading activities of the agent in the day. Day-wise reports has been prepared. Yeah. So we are discussing the operation aspects, and it's also called as the ship agency operation, shipping agency operation. Various names will be called as. So kindly note down this operation aspects, right? NOR, because some of the important NOR is there, SOF is there, so you people can able to know about that, right? So it should be NOR should be in the pre-printed form or in a fresh thing. Fresh thing will be the, like every time you are taking the letter in the letterheads. Next one, next to NOR is the bunkering operations. Bunkering operations. A ship will be asked to supply bunkers by the ship owner or time charterer, as the case may be. It is essential that the agent ensures that he knows exactly what grade or type of bunker fuel is required. Bunkering, okay. The agent cannot assume that the fuel supplied to one of the owner's earlier vessels can be also supplied to another vessel. Complete specification of the bunker fuel, including the content of impurities like sulfur, has to be obtained from the bunker supplier and given to the principal for approval. Okay, so see this. It should not be a same everything. It should be different. Next one. The agent has to coordinate delivery of bunker, taking into account possible restrictions with regard to time and place of delivery. Possible restrictions like bunker delivery not permitted during cargo handling, bunker delivery through road tanker not permitted, etc. have to be kept in mind during the bunker planning. Okay. Very important thing. So kindly note down this. How in this bunkering operations discussed, how importance of bunkering operations. Okay. Right. I move next slide. Okay. Yeah. Next is ship repair operations. Okay. So bunkering operations, we're discussing bunkering operation, right? Why this bunkering plays an important role, or why this bunker plays an important role? Anyone? NOR, we discussed about that. What is this? Bunkering. Why bunkering is important? Any idea about that? What is the purpose of bunkering? Why bunkering? Any common idea?
So bunkering the fuel.
Bunkering. Yeah, bunkering the
Fuel.
which one? Fuel. Fuel.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, fuel. Yes, fuel. Okay. So whether it's important or not,
Yes, sir. Important.
very important. So that's why I'm telling you, because fuel, right? Fuel is, as already mentioned here.
Yes, sir.
The agent cannot assume that the fuel supplied to one of the owner's earlier vessels can also be supplied to another vessel. Right?
Sir, some ships have bunkering the water also.
Bunkering the water, yes. So nowadays, but water also. So that normally fuel, now it changed to water. Some ships, yeah. So he rightly told about that, water also, right? Most of the time it's used for the fuel and everything. So bunkering is very important and very sensitive also. So you should be very careful on the bunkering operations also, right? Right. See that delivery not permitted during cargo handling. A lot of restrictions will also be followed that. So you should be very careful in the mind during the bunker time. Next, ship repair operations. So we'll discuss the ship repair operations. The ship needs to have all equipments in full working condition. Sophisticated vessels may completely tally onshore assistance for repairs. Ships also require crucial spare parts which can either be procured locally or imported from original equipment manufacturers. The ship's master chief engineer will give the requirements while at sea, and the ship owner will relay to the agent and ask him to certain possibility of getting the job done. Right. Sometimes the owner may directly have contracts with the leadership repair companies. Example mentioned, manufacturers Colton's, and ask them to carry out the repairs in coordination with the port agents. In such case, the agent has to give precise information to the repair company about the ship movements and also arrange for getting any permission from the port authority or terminal operator. Ship spares may be received from the other countries and may have to be customs cleared and placed on board the vessels. See that ships also required crucial spare parts, right? Crucial spare parts which can be either procured locally or imported from original equipment manufacturers. How do you pronounce this original equipment manufacturers? How will you pronounce? How will you give the right term? Any idea on that? Most of the times, like the spare parts, original equipment manufacturers normally comes into the picture because instead of procured locally, ship, you know that very important thing and very costliest thing. So spare parts also very important. So what is the term called as normally? Not only for ship, think about other like four-wheelers, like our cars, everything. So any idea on that? How will you term as? Any guess? Should be procured locally or imported from original equipment manufacturers. Now tell me, very easily, very easy thing.
Genuine spare part.
Which one? Yeah. Tell me. Who told?
Genuine.
Yeah. Your good name? Yeah, I can't be able to see the names. Yeah, you a good name?
Sridharan.
Yeah, tell me, sir. Tell me. Yeah, genuine parts. What?
Genuine spare.
Genuine spare.
Genuine spare parts. Yeah,
Genuine spare parts. Okay. So this you saw this in the slide. Original equipment manufacturers. How will you call this actually normally in a like a manufacturing setup, right? In a manufacturing area, suppose in a production area, because normally spare parts will be done in the production area, right? So how will you call this actually?
Yes, sir. This is normally called all the spares,
Yeah.
as the guy is mentioned, the genuine spare that is called, because each ship's built everywhere in the world. It is trading it on various part of the world. So any part we needed, suppose ship is built from Japan, for example, some spares need from the maker. We are suppose sailing in the Australian zone. So it is supposed to needed from original maker only for
definitely. Yeah, original. That's very important actually. That's only I'm talking about that.
It is not possible to supply all over the world from the makerage. So what they do, they approve the various companies at various part of the world. They approve the companies and approve the design, everything. And because of them, those companies make the parts. Those parts called the genuine spares.
Genuine spares. Okay.
Yeah. So other than that, even in India, you can get all type of standard parts, but then may not be a genuine parts, but to the size or to the dimension, to the specification, it will be originality to the record part.
Okay. But my question is whether it should be used or not, because you got a point, right? Prabhakar sir mentioned right that whether it should be used.
Yes, of course, because.
But the shelf life and everything will be different from the genuine parts. Apart from the compared to the genuine parts, definitely it will be the shelf life will be lesser.
No, if you see this, with respect to the machineries and the importance of the machinery, especially for propulsion machinery, and those machineries are considered as very much important for the propulsion. Those parts supposed to be supplied by the maker or genuine parts supplied. Apart from that, mostly you can get some various parts like bearings, mechanical seals, and other type of shafts, which may not be so influenced to the importance of the propulsion system. So those parts can be purchased even locally. Even I myself ordered many parts locally. I purchased from local agents, ship channels, because it is.
So are you comfortable? That is okay. That efficiency level and operations level of that parts and everything?
Of course not, because since it is manufactured locally or which is not approved center, that has obviously the material which they used may not be the standard what original supposed to have. And in addition to the dimension, but for the time being or for the emergency conditions to run or bring
for the
to another place.
Prabhakar sir is rightly told about that emergency situations for the time being. So you want to manage the crisis, something. Yes. Valid point. Yes, that time I think you can use that like a substitute, like alternative. But for a long term, right, life term, you can go for the genuine parts. He rightly told Sridhar sir and Prabhakar sir. Yes, great. So genuine parts plays an important role. That I told about this original equipment manufacturers. How will you pronounce this actually, technically?
Technically,
like we talk about NOR, SOF, and everything, right? So like that, how will you? This is normally called in the engineering section, right? You people know that production area and everything, manufacturing area, OEM, right? Normally OEM. I think now you heard about that. The importance of OEM, right? What, Prabhakar sir?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, important. That's the thing. Importance of OEM. Lot of research is going on the importance. Why importance should be given to the OEM? Like that's the thing. Original equipment manufacturers compared to the spare parts produced locally. So I think he has Prabhakar sir also given the right thing actually. Extensive during time of emergency, crisis, then we can go for that. Otherwise, always use the genuine spare parts. Even our car, right? We purchase car maybe we have a car, we will focus towards the original manufacturers only, the spare parts, original spare parts. So because of the long term and lifelong, and the shelf life will be more and everything, because this is a ship actually. So we should be very taking care, more consideration. We should not focus on the like cost effect, nothing will be there, because ship repair operations is one of the important things. Because if you go for the genuine, definitely the cost will be reduced actually, I will tell you. Once the investment is higher, maybe sometimes, but the unnecessary services has been prevented. So the unnecessary cost will also be removed, erased from the things. Clear? Right? Importance of ship repair operations. I think everyone is clear. Thanks, Prabhakar Sir. He has given the right thing about the genuine spare. That's why I want to mention about that. And locally, what is the shelf life and everything. Right? Great, great discussions. I think I love these discussions. Right? So various points you people also can express on that. Thank you. I think everyone is clear apart from the things. Also, yes, ma'am is there. A lot of people are there. Karthik, Joseph, a lot of people are there. Everyone is clear with this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Somewhat it's useful for you people, right? Now, I think you know about the NOR, bunkering operations, ship repair operations. What do you mean by NOR, SOF, OEM? Please kindly note it down. OEM plays an important role. A lot of researchers, you can see the internet also. Why OEM is the heart of the production industry or company or any brand, right? So normally people will go for the cost reduced spares and everything normally. Normal mindset I'm telling. But the real thing is go for the genuine spares like we are using in the ship repair operations. Right? Don't think about the cost and everything, but the life will be more fun. Okay. Next. Ship supply operations. Next one is ship supply operations. The ship may require various deck stores, flags, charts, paints, ropes, and cargo lashing equipment. Engine stores include various spares, protective clothing, gloves, spare bulbs for lamps, etc. So these are normal supplies happen in the shipping. Yeah. Provisions are the foodstuff for the crew members. Saloon stores include items used in ship. Tissue papers, cleaning materials, crockery, cutlery items, etc. Very important things. These are the tissue papers, cleaning materials. Ship handlers or the traders, chandlers or traders specializing in supplying ship stores. Port agent needs to obtain quotation from ship chandlers and get them approved by owners for arranging the supplies for short notice. In many ships, vessel crew setting food cost is fixed, by which the contract between the crew and the owner. In such cases, the ship steward will carefully check the prices of various fresh provisions and select the items to give a good value to the crew. See this once again, this ship supply operations. Initially I told about the quotations and everything. It plays an important role that you want to get a good price, the good vendor with a good quality, everything is an important role, right? So once again, and it should be cost effective. That's the thing. Here also it mentioned that in such cases, the ship's crew steward will carefully check the prices. See that, check the prices of various fresh provisions and select the items that will serve a good value to the crew. So this is a basic fundamental thing. Check the prices for everything. Maybe you can ask, why not for a spares? Spares is heart actually. I told about them. Spares are heart to the ship actually. So we should not bother about that. So other things, how to reduce the cost, check the prices. Clear? And proceed with that. And already I told that cost effective plays an important role. Cost minimization plays an important role. So kindly note it down. Ship supply operations. Next one, waste reception disposal operations. The ship generates a lot of waste during the voyage and look forward to dispose the waste during the port call in an environmentally friendly manner. Port agent in coordination with the port officials and specialized waste disposal service providers will offer the services. Right? Dry waste, see that waste, gallery, ship's kitchen waste, unwanted dunnage, unwanted lashing materials, and general garbage will be put into garbage skips, dumpsters provided by the port or procured from an external service providers. Liquid waste containing oil residues are normally stored in special holding tanks till a sufficient volume is accumulated. The liquid waste. The port agent, on receipt of request for removal of oily bilge water, will arrange to receive it in tanker barges or road tankers for tanking them for safe disposal. Sewage water, known as black water, grey water, also requires to be disposed in an environmentally friendly manner. So, see this. So, waste reception, disposal operations. Yeah. So, this is crew signing off, signing on operations. This is one of the topic here. Crew husband, cruise. Yeah. A crew member may sign off from the ship due to various reasons. Having completed the contract term, may be injured, may have to rush home on compassionate grounds, may be required in another ship, or may be dispersed from service. A signing of crew member needs to be repatriated in country. Repatriation arrangements require immigration approval from the crew member concerned as a national country from which visa is required. The signing off operation will include obtaining entry visa, making the booking with the airline, arranging transportation to the airport. All these costs are recovered from the principal along with the disbursement cost. Right? Port agents taking into account these costs will normally quote a fixed rate, $40 per person if less than 3 crew members. So repatriated, and $30 per person, 4 or more crew members are repatriated time. The reason for the reduction is the possibility of using a van for transportation instead of car. See, that's effective utilization. Signing on procedure and cost involved are very much the same in signing off. The main difference is that sometimes the signing on crew may arrive without the required documents. In such cases, the agent has taken care and explained the immigration official the circumstances under which the crew member has arrived and should ensure that we help it join the ship. Crew mail, agents will normally ask them to dispatch both the official ship mail and personal mail of crew members. The expense head, postage and petties, the disbursement pertains to the postage expenses incurred by the agent. The owner will address to the agent any mail from his office for the ship and crew. When a vessel makes regular calls to a port, a lot of personal mail for the crew will be sent to the agent. In case of on-off calls, if the mail arrives after the vessel sails, it is customary for the agent to forward the mail to the next port. So, see this, how it happens, signing off and signing on operations of the crew. This one is less important, but people should know about this, how it happened about this crew mail, importance of crew mail and everything. Yeah. I move next slide. Preparation of SOF. Statement of facts, we told about that. Preparation of SOF. As the name suggests, statement of facts prepared by the port agent will record the arrival times, working periods, working disruptions due to weather, strike, machinery breakdown, etc. A SOF format recommended by the SINCO is given in the following page. It contains the following information. See that agent's name, vessel's name, port owner's, exponent owner's name, vessel berth time, loading, commenced in loading time, cargo, discharging commenced, discharging completed, cargo documents in board time, vessel sail time. See, these are the following information. The statement of facts are important, prepared by the port agent. The SOF also contains the details of daily working, day-wise, number of gangs used, hours worked, hours work stopped, reasons for work stoppage, why the work has been stopped, such as weather, bad weather, strikes, breakdown of winches, trains, shortage of cargo. Various reasons will happen. Right? Preparation of the statement of facts. Kindly note it down. See, this is disbursement accounts, PDA and disbursement accounts. When initially we saw that importance of PDA and final disbursement account. It's called a disbursement account. Is normally called as a final disbursement account also. When a ship calls a port, it uses and has to pay for numerous services, pilotage, towage, etc. Besides paying the port dues, depending on the size of the ship and the extent of cargo handled, the charge is payable. After ascertaining the particulars of the vessel likely to call and the purpose of the call, the agent will estimate the charges payable and send to the ship owner for getting the advance funding. The estimate referred here is known as the pro forma disbursement account. It is not advisable to include agency fee and other administrative expenses incurred by the agent in the PDA. Right? If there is any freight collection involved, the ship owner may permit the agent to pay the disbursements from the money collected. However, if there is any delay in freight collection or if there is no freight collection involved, agents will be pressurized by the service providers for making the payment. In such situations, the ship owner will make transfer of funds to agent's bank account quickly. Sometimes owners may request the charters to pay funds to agent and reduce the amount from the freight. In such situations, the charterer will be allowed to charge a commission of 2.5% on any funds advanced. Commission will be there, 2.5%. If the charterer has to make freight payment at the load port, then the charterer will not be allowed to charge commission for advance payments made after the due date freight payment. An agent who has a good credit rating with port may get a credit period and extend to the ship owner. So, credit rating also plays an important in the disbursement account. Yeah. So this after vessel call, the agent will have the invoices from various service providers and vouchers in case of internal administrative expenses. With the help of these documents, the agent will prepare the final disbursement account. Yeah. A format of the disbursement is given. Let us understand the details of various costs incurred by the agent. Port charges. See this, cargo charges, ship related charges. Port charges, what are the port charges? Like harbor dues, ride dues, pilot, towage, mooring and unmooring charges, custom charges, shifting charges, launch hire charges, car hire charges, agency remuneration, communication expenses, telex, postage, telegrams, cargo charges, stevedoring expenses, trainage charges, tally charges, overtime charges, ship related charges, cash to master, stores provision charges, water charges, crew expenses, repairs, etc. Finally, the credit will be given to the advance funds received from the owners to arrive at the account balance due to the ship owners. Agents representing many principals will maintain separate bank accounts to keep the track of the freight collections, disbursement related expenses, etc. See this, these are the important things carried out by the port agents. Yeah. Right. I think with this, we are finishing the unit 5. I think you people note down this charges and everything, disbursement account, SOF, statement of facts and everything. I think you people are clear with unit 5.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now the time is 10:52. We have 5 minutes break. Then we'll have it continue with 10:57 with unit 6. Okay. So today's session up to 1 o'clock. I think you people know that. So we'll finish up the 6, 7, 8 and the forthcoming sessions, right? So we'll meet at after 5 minutes. 5 minutes break. Yeah. Thank you.